I love Brawl. That's why I have 3 of them. And to justify my bad spending habits of buying the same character multiple times, let's compare them. And let's start with appearance. I might be just a bit biased here, but they are all so beautiful. All of these figures have amazing detailing. The sculpting on the Bumblebee movie and the Studio Series, the sculpting on the Black Mamba and the Studio Series are basically the same, of course. The Black Mamba is just an upscale, but there are some notable differences. Not really due to the sculpting, but mostly due to the paint. The paint makes the Black Mamba one look so much better visually. The torso, spike things, upper arms, and most importantly, the crotch all look better. But the MPM version is on a whole other level. I mean, it better be. The sculpting overall is just so cohesive. It blends together well, and it is the most aesthetically pleasing. And I love that head. The crotch on this one is the best one by far. The paint is also the best here. The MPM avoids using the bright silver paints and goes for the more darker aesthetic, which I do prefer and I do think it looks good. So for appearance, the MPM figure will definitely get the points. I wouldn't really give it to the Black Mamba due to a lot of areas feeling flat or just plain, since it is an upscale and everything is just stretched out. But regardless, they are all really nice in terms of sculpting and paint. And they are also very nicely proportioned. They all give off the vibe as Brawl and encompass the character very well. But if I had to nitpick, the Studio Series and the Black Mamba versions have really skinny areas, like the elbows and the waist. The Studio Series, even though it is the same as the Black Mamba, just feels so stringy and thin, if that makes sense. The MPM, on the other hand, is just so chunky in the best way. You can tell just by looking at him. The arms and legs are really nicely proportioned, and his overall bulk is so nice. And this is why Brawl is my favorite character. He just looks so cool. So for proportions and just accuracy in general, the MPM gets the 2nd point. And as for Kibble management, it's not that bad for any of them. I personally don't mind the Kibble at all. But the Studio Series does have these weird things on his hands, which is something they could improve on if they were to remake it. Check out this video if you haven't already. And they did improve on it with the Black Mamba version, where they transferred that Kibble from the forearms to the shoulders, which is completely fine with me because it works to add bulk to the silhouette and actually makes him look better, in my opinion. The MPM also has Kibble on that area too, but it's much smaller and a lot less noticeable. However, I do think that overall, the Black Mamba version is more clean. The backpack is significantly better than the MPM's. Where the MPM's back is still good, don't get me wrong, the Black Mamba literally has no backpack at all. And the most important thing, in my opinion, is how these things can tab into the chest. I know it's not accurate, but having them tab in is so much better for handling and solidity. And speaking about those two, let's talk about quality. Being a third-party figure, the Black Mamba obviously has the worst quality of the bunch, but that doesn't mean it's not good. It's not bad at all, and it has some really nice heft due to the die-cast metal in some parts. But that does make it a bit too heavy for its own good. We'll talk about that later. I did break this off though, but that's my fault. I forgot how to transform it and I forced it this way. So yeah, overall quality isn't that bad, and the materials are solid. It's just that the quality of the other two outclass the Black Mamba by a lot. The MPM is so solid, dense, and satisfyingly heavy. But just like with the Black Mamba, there are a few die-cast areas, which is always
this right
nice.
Here is my
but
favorite
unlike
thing.
the Black Mamba, he is really stable, and the overall feeling is just amazing. But it isn't perfect. These leg joints are way way too tight. I feel like they're gonna break. On the other hand, some joints are too loose, and these panels in the legs don't really tab in. And then that leaves us with the Studio Series. Even though the Studio Series Brawl has no diecast metal, and one of my leg panels are floppy, it just has an overall better play experience in terms of feeling and joint quality. I have to give it to the Studio Series. It might just be me, but I always find mainline figures the most fun. The closer something is to a mainline figure, the more fun I have with it, to a certain extent. Therefore, if I had a few free minutes just to mess around with a toy, I would obviously choose the Studio Series version. It is so fun to play with, and I just love this guy as a toy. If I had this guy as a child, it would 100% be my favorite toy of all time. I mean, even now, it is one of my most favorite toys. So if I love the Studio Series version, I must love the Black Mamba version as well, right? They are basically the same figure after all. Well, I don't. The Black Mamba just keeps falling over. They decided to give him some foot posability, but in order to do that, they sacrificed stability. The joint is way too loose to hold up this hefty robot. This just makes it impossible and annoying to pose. It sort of ruins it for me. The MPM Brawl, on the other hand, is so fun. In my opinion, he is the most fun MPM figure to mess around with. It is very nice to pose around. However, it does not feel as free as the Studio Series one. Where Studio Series, it feels so easy just to move everything around. Whereas on the MPM, you really do need to struggle and rotate it and try to find a way to make the joints work in your favor. So Studio Series is definitely the most fun to play with. And another way you can have fun is by using their accessories. And the Studio Series Brawl comes with this, the Black Mamba Brawl comes with this, and the MPM Brawl comes with all of this. Do I even need to say anything here? On top of having the standard arm weapons, the MPM Brawl also has really nice blast effects, which are nice for photography. And he also has his broken arm, so you can recreate that one scene from the movie. MPM gets the point here. The Studio Series Brawl has one of my most favourite Studio Series transformations out of them all. Everything is so satisfying, fun, and unique. The arms feel like origami in the best way. The rotation of everything is so smooth, and the shell wrapping around the sides is very satisfying. It is so fun to flip back and forth, but the others are just as fun. The Black Mamba adds quite a few different steps, making it actually significantly different to the Studio Series version. And the MPM's transformation is surprisingly satisfying and straightforward, and it's not as much of a headache as the other MPMs. I do think the MPM has one of the best transformations out of all the MPM figures, where I do sort of dread transforming these guys. I actually look forward to transforming the Brawl. Even though they are all really good transformations, I'm gonna give it to the Studio Series Brawl. The MPM and the Black Mamba have one step that makes the transformation more annoying than the Studio Series. I struggle so much to tap the arms together to make the turret. I don't know why. I just keep trying to arrange them properly over and over again, and it just doesn't work. It's not that big of a deal, but it's still annoying regardless, and that is what puts the Studio Series in the lead for transformation. And now, let's talk about their tank modes. And just looking at these, I realize my life has peaked. I am so happy with all of them. Tanks are my favorite type of alt mode, besides dinosaurs of course, and they all pull it off beautifully. The sculpting, color, and presence. These are all amazing. I know I'm glazing, but they all deserve it, to be honest. Well, maybe this Studio Series deserves a bit less glaze, where even though I do like this a lot, the turret does not rotate at all. Which is so sad, because that is the main appeal of the tank. The other two have this really satisfying feature though. And I am so impressed that the Black Mamba is able to add this so seamlessly, using the Studio Series as the base. But that's not all it improves on. It fixes how the back of the turret is hovering, where this wasn't really an issue for me with the Studio Series, but seeing the Black Mamba look like that, it really makes me feel something. It is just so good to look at. And the MPM is just as good. Just like with the Black Mamba, it literally is the perfect tank. It is so heavy, solid, and extremely playable, where the turret rotation is buttery smooth, and it has up and down on the turret. But I'll give the point to the Black Mamba, where even though the MPM is more fun, this is just significantly larger. I know that size doesn't matter, but come on, this is so menacing and so cool. The amount of aura this tank mode has is off the charts. I normally don't really care about size, but here, I'll make an exception. Also, I love the paint on the treads. The MPM doesn't even have this. The MPM was worth $300 when it came out. It is $250 now, I think. But still, for either price, is it worth it? I love this guy. I adore him. And I am the biggest MPM Brawl meat rider. But I still don't think it's worth it. But I guess that's true for all the MPM guys. They are way too overcharged in my opinion. But this, I feel like, is more overcharged on top of that. Because he is the same price as Blackout and Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher is massive, and Blackout is significantly taller. So I do feel like I'm missing out on a lot of money here. The Studio Series Brawl is not that bad. I think you can still find him for around retail, or just a few tens of dollars high, which is very impressive for such an old Studio Series figure. I do recommend getting him if you can find him for retail. But if you spend just a few more tens of dollars, you get all of this. He is double the size and has engineering improvements on top of that. It is even bigger than the MPM version for just a third of the price. If you're looking for a more fun, playable figure, then the Studio Series is the way to go. But looking at value alone, the Black Mamba wins this by a mile. And so here are the final scores. And they're all tied. So I guess I just wasted your time. But regardless, I guess the takeaway here is that they are all amazing and really good figures, especially for their prices. Well, maybe except their PM. But still, they are all wonderful. The Black Mamba, I do feel like, is one of the best ones in their line that they do. The Studio Series Brawl is one of the best Studio Series figures in my opinion, which might be controversial. And what's less controversial is saying that the MPM is the best MPM figure. And so they do all sort of deserve to win. I know that's sort of a cow answer, but I can't choose. I love Brawl too much. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way until the end, and I hope you have a good day or night.